I want you to cry into your Hello Kitty pillow. I want you to put your headphones on. I want you to listen to some Taylor Swift. And I want you to shake it off, you bland bitch.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We're talking about NXT, January 27, 2026, Vic Booker and Ricky on commentary for the starting of the show. I was so like thrown off because I was waiting for Vic's voice or Booker's voice. Usually Vic starts it off, and I was like, "Who is this? Ricky?" I was like, "Oh, I thought he was gonna be on the whole show, but he was not. Probably would have made the show better, in my opinion." Yeah, so we were supposed to start this off with Joe Hendry versus, I believe, Jackson Drake of the Vanity Project. Or Swipe Right, was that what they were called at first? I don't know. But the state of NXT after Oba Femi dropped the title, who is going to be the next NXT champion? And I'll tell you this, folks, this lineup for this ladder match next week, I don't know. We're going to speak on it at the end. But Joe was attacked. But who attacked Joe? Who? Was it the Vanity Project? They were standing there with the chair. Then Tony, Ava was like, what's going on? Well, I got other stuff. And Tony D'Angelo enters the building. He's got his security guards. One of them I recognized, from LFG. Good old LFG. You know what's funny? As I didn't finish season 2. I don't know. But I feel these guys that are getting on LFG are the ones that are pushing a little bit faster than most, which I find interesting. Like a Shiloh Hill, who I like. What's the other guy's name? Jasper Troy. I think he's going to be a big threat. Why is he not? You know what? We'll get to it. Okay. But this is, everything gets kind of moved around a little bit, and we have the tag team championships on the line. OTM versus Dark State. I don't like Dark State. I've said this before. I said this time and time again. OTM finally is growing on me. At first, I didn't like them either. It's just this weird, shield but not shield thing. I don't know, but Dark State retains, and then here comes Hank and Tang, and then here comes Vanity Project, here, then a big old fight, Chase U, then the culling, and everything like that, tag team divisions and crazy, and I'm looking at all these teams, and the only one, okay, when we get to the ladder match, but yeah, big fight, this is what opens the show, and gets us going. Blake Monroe's backstage in the locker room, and she's with Nikita. Nikita tells her, hey, I know you have a problem with Miss Parker. I'll do you a favor. I'll do you a solid. I will go face her tonight. And Blake's like, well, what do I owe you? And Nikita's just like, just call me Nikita Saints. And Blake's like, okay, sure. Go, Nikita. I'm not a big fan of Nikita. Not really. I was very happy to hear that she's going to take on Miss Parker, so Miss Parker can whoop that ass. That's what I was waiting for. But that's the match up next. Jada versus Nikita Lyons. I don't know. Nikita. I'm just going to say Nikita, so without butchering a name. But, I guess, Miss Parker was the best part of this match. Nikita was okay. But Jada got the win. As I knew Jada would, and as she's there post, celebrating her win over Nikita, Blake Monroe goes on the screen and tells her, you ain't glamorous enough to hold the glamour, but Jada's like, no, I ain't sweating you. So this rivalry begins, and as it does, as I said that, my cuckoo clock tells me the same thing as well. So, I'm looking forward to more Jada and Blake. See what I did there? Tavion's backstage with Elio, the French luchador guy, and Eli Knight. We're definitely shifting gears here with the talent and these up-and-coming stars from Evolve and everything. Then you got Ariana Grace and Lexus and Stax. They're forming some group here. This is what I got from this. Because I was like, this is an interesting trio to put together. Maybe another member on the horizon. That's a little bit later on in the show. But I was like, I find this interesting. But, yeah, things are changing here. And this is why when we talk about the ladder match next week, I'm wondering where there's some heavy hitters. Where's the heavy hitters at for the ladder match? Because, yeah, let's just get to it. TNA, the TNA Tag Team Champions, Knockout Champions, whatever you want to call them, the Elegance brand, saying they got a big match next week, talking all that mess. Then we get Zarya and Thea. Zarya tries to call Soul, says, hey, where you at, man? Where you at? Oh, you're not here. Well, fine. Whatever. Thea's like, hey, man, I'm sorry. Sucks. Well, I know all about losses. Zarya's like, what do you know? And she's like, whoa. Then it sets up a match between these two. Yeah. Then Ava's with the Vanity Project telling Mr. Jackson Drake, he is in the ladder match, and if Joe is cleared, he will be in the ladder match as well. So, come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Then we go right into Miles. This is a qualifying match for the ladder match. Miles Bourne versus Dion Lennox. They really like this Dion, don't they? I don't see it. I see more in Miles Bourne than I do a Dion. I don't understand it. Yes, Miles still has his beef with Ethan Page in that North American Championship. So I think that's Miles' actual run with the championship is going to be that. Which I'm like, why is it Dion in that race? I don't see Dion as the NXT champion. No offense to Dion, but I just don't. So he wins this because Ethan Page tried to help out, threw a championship at him. But what I love was before this match happened is Ethan's telling Miles, you need to be ruthless, you need to be all this stuff, man. And then Ricky's like, whoa. Then they're like, oh, we love a fired up Miles. Yeah. Eva is with Tony D'Angelo. Ricky Saints is in in her office as well, pleading his case that the main event tonight is a big one. We can't let Keanu go crazy because I really don't know what he was pleading, to be honest. But yeah, he was talking. And Tony says next week he will explain his actions. Ava's the one that bailed him out and Ava tells Tony, the reason being is NXT needs you. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. But NXT needs Tony D'Angelo? Why isn't he in the ladder match? See, there's so many things about going on. I was like, why is Miles Bourne not in the ladder match? Why is Ethan Page not in the ladder match? Why the hell is Tony D'Angelo not in the ladder match? Anger. Tavion Heights versus Lexus King. This is a rivalry digging deep. Another two people that I'm like, why aren't they in the ladder match? And we got... Okay. All right. Well, Tavion Alexis is okay. Ariana Grace, the Stax is out there. They have this new group, you know what I mean? And Lexus gets the win. Then we do this thing called NXT Origins with Finn Balor. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's really cool, showing the history of NXT, when it started and how it's grown and evolved. Are we going to get any more PLEs for NXT? Because next week is a big, big show. Big, big show. Zarya versus Thea. Izzy is on commentary. I enjoyed this match. I love Thea Hale. I think she's very talented. I like Zarya. I do believe she could really be a badass on her own and not be tied to Sol Ruka anymore. But what I loved about this was Tatum Paxley just out of nowhere on the barricade jumps and attacks Izzy Dame. She's just like a little spider monkey, like Wah! Chases Izzy, causing enough of a distraction for Zarya for Thea to get the roll up and pinning Zarya 1, 2, 3. I like that finish. Here comes Fatal Influence. Thea Zarya, they're going to hold him off, right? Zarya's like, hell no. She pushed away the handshake. Then Fatal Influence came out. And then Zarya's like, babarig. Attacks Thea. Fatal Influence backs off. I'm like, where's my champion, JC Jane? Where's JC? Why ain't she in the ladder match? I'm just kidding. Then we go backstage with Kendall, Ren, and Charlie. Charlie's back. And Kendall and Ren, you know, they say Kendall wants another shot at the JC Jane. But then here comes Stax and Ariana Grace and Lexis King telling Charlie, hey, we need to talk. So I'm guessing the fourth member of this group. Ba ba ba. And why isn't Charlie in this match? That ladder match. I'm going to keep saying these things as the show goes along. Last match of the night, a qualifying match. Andre Chase versus Keanu Carver. Not impressed whatsoever. The dude's finish is whack. I don't know. I'm just like, okay, this is the guy we're putting our eggs in that basket. While we went through this entire show. And I'm like, why is Miles not in it? Why is not Ethan in it? Why is not Tony D'Angelo in it? The real heavy hitters. Shawn Michaels is going for something new and bold, and yeah. But Andre Chase gets destroyed, you know. The crowd starts chanting "Chase U's dead," which it has been. Then we go into the little like standoff with each other. Shiloh, Shawn, Jackson, Dion, Keanu, they're all in the ring. They all got to say their thing, and the only one I feel like that has the best mic skills in that ring was Shiloh. I was like, Shiloh says, I'm crazy. I'm ready. Woo! You know. Then you get Ricky Saints coming out. He still needs work on the mic, but he comes out with the ladder and says, check out the view, you know. And Keanu's the one that kind of stops everybody. He's like, we ain't got to wait for next week. We got to fight. We're going to fight. Boom. Everyone starts fighting. Everyone starts laying each other out. Bada bing, bada boom. Ricky Saints brings the ladder in. It hits Keanu. He sets the ladder up, and then we said someone's name. Say his name and he'll appear. Mr. Joe Hendry comes out holding his ribs, still getting his pose. So I know he ain't that injured, but he comes out, you know, and after everything gets cleared away, Keanu's the last one standing, and I'm just looking at this guy like, why? Why? So next week we have Shiloh versus Ricky versus Shawn Legacy versus Jackson Drake versus Dion Lennox versus Joe Hendry versus Keanu Carver. And out of all of these people, the only ones I can really see getting behind new would be a Shiloh Hill. That's about it. But to be real, it's either Ricky or Joe that's going to be champion. Or you might as well move them the fuck up to the main roster. Like, you know, and that's why I scratch my head at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 way now ladder match, and it's on TV. Something this huge is like, I don't know what Shawn's gonna do. Shawn's gonna put the title on somebody because he has to, you know. And I don't know. We could have done a battle royale. Probably make it a little bit more interesting. But you got the Royal Rumble coming up, so I understand why not do a battle royale. But a ladder match, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's awesome. This was not my favorite NXT. This is probably the blandest of the shows, so hopefully next week is great. I give it a solid 2 out of 5. Match of the night is Miles versus Dion Lennox. Even though I'm not big on Dion, these two had a decent match. And I love that Ethan Page is still there trying to take smiles away. And moment of the night was Tatum Paxley jumping on Izzy Day. Like, ah! Oh my gosh. So tell me what you think. Who do you think is going to win this ladder match? My pick is Ricky or Joe. And if I really have to go with this new batch of individuals and superstars, might as well just give it to Shiloh. The man has mic skills. The man has talent. That's my 2 cents on that. So we shall see. Yeah. All right. Drop those comments below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Share with your grandma, share with your grandpa, share with them down at Walmart. I am KB the Sexy Ninja, and remember that the New World Podcast is for life.
Muy, muy pronto.
Miss Parker.
Like Monroe, you know exactly.
Play more.